Welcome to On the Hill Podcast.
All right, and we're back.
Back on the hill.
Back on the hill, baby. Back on the hill.
Big E, little E, and
got a special guest here.
What is episode 9?
Is it episode 9? Does that sound right?
I think so. I think Evan was episode 8.
Damn.
It's almost double digits.
You got any relation to the number 9?
No.
No? All right, so we got with us the one and only Kody Wray Newland. Right?
Yep.
All right. So now I'll start off. I mean, you know, it's kind of odd getting here talking, but I met you when you were a recruit at the Crater Academy.
Yep.
And you were working for what agency then?
Dinwiddie County.
Dinwiddie County.
As a cop, or did you have any prior?
No,
experience?
I started there as a jailer, so basically worked the courts and our lockup there. So I had to go through the jailer academy. I met him at that first one.
Okay, I got you.
Then when I got promoted to the road, I saw him again when I went through that academy.
Yeah, so what happens is, like, you know, smaller agencies. So you grew up in Dinwiddie too, right? So, you know, first of all, you could. How long did you work before you came to the academy?
About
Don't.
for the jailer academy, it was 3 months.
And then you came to
And
the
then
academy.
I went through the academy.
Right.
For the LE academy, I was on the road for 6 months. I'd gone through field training and then went through
Wow.
the LE academy.
Yeah. So the normal order thing is like, so I don't know when this really took place, but you can be hired by, let's say, like a regional jail and work there up to a year before you even ever go to the academy. So one of your friends did that, right? Talking about Eric. One of his friends he went to high school with had worked there for like 8 months. He was supposed to come to the academy, but never got sent.
Yep.
So, and you're the same way. So you could have worked there in the courts and do y'all have a jail there too, small jail, like a lockup.
We have a lockup, but not. We use Heron for our jail.
Yeah, so you have that grace period, you know, and then since she was already certified BJA, Basic Jailer Academy, she did her field training first through Dinwiddie and then came back to the academy to get certified as law enforcement. So there's 2 certifications.
Yep.
Is that usually how you start off? Or you can start off?
You can, especially if you're with the sheriff's office. I think they typically like you to go kind of through that way. But then a police department, you have to go through the academy first.
Yeah.
Go through that.
Yeah, the police department usually doesn't have that grace period of that, like a jailer.
Yeah.
And some of that reason is because, you know, personnel shortages.
Yep.
Well, I was going to say, I'm not going to get in any specifics, but my buddy who went through, he was went through the jailer academy and then, actually, I don't know.
He never went to the jail academy.
Yeah, you're right. He never did an academy. So he's there for 6-7 months, no training.
Yep.
Has no sort of, like, I guess you get mace at some point. And,
Yeah.
Once you get through defensive tactics, right? You got
and he said he had nothing. So they were so short people. He was just on his own for a while.
Yep.
And he was like, I don't have anything.
Yep. We did. We all did the same thing.
Yeah, so like in these regional regional jails, I mean, you may be one officer to 70 people in a pod or more.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And you're just standing there. Your survival is based upon the will of the inmates.
I don't know. That's scary.
Yeah.
Especially, and I guess you did women's.
So since we didn't have a jail in Dinwiddie, we just had a lockup. So we would just take people to and from
Court and
courts
back.
and back to, and
Yeah.
you know, we could hold them for up to 24 hours, but then we would just have to take them to whatever jail they needed to go to.
Damn. So there's all kinds of people.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, I mean, normally, so when you were doing that, was anybody that kind of like a strange story about that you can think of? Any crazy story from the jail time, from the lockup? Putting you on the spot.
I mean, other than people, you know, flooding their cells or because they were mad or claiming they can't walk, so you got to carry them. Got to deal with those.
Wow.
Either
I
that
can
or
imagine.
Either that or, you know, the couple people that would come out of the cell and just like charge you for no reason, even though you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is wild. But all right, so then let's just backtrack. So you said you were born and raised in Dinwiddie. So where? I mean, so people like when you said, I mean, so first of all, we appreciate you coming over. We're going to give you this on the hill cup, man. And we're supposed to have an on the hill sign that hangs back here, but it got lost between China and like Macon, Georgia. So it said Alfred Delivery, and it said in Georgia.
Like 3 days ago.
Yeah. So you hit the tracking thing on Amazon and it said Georgia. I'm like, damn, we live in Virginia. And then your mom said, well, that's where it originated from. I'm like, nah, it originated in China.
Must be another happy.
Man.
Hey.
Might have been like some kind of like, super induced alien.
There's been drugs in there or something.
Yeah.
Hey.
Passing it off, man, to the Liverman family.
You never know.
All right, so but Dinwiddie's huge is what I'm saying. So you were like, hey, we're like, you got here a little early, but it took you an hour to get here. So when I think of Dinwiddie, I'm just thinking about like, is this one area, but the place is huge.
It is. And that's the thing, like, I was born in about the central area of Dinwiddie, which is DeWitt, because we have sub-counties inside the county. So
right.
You have North Dinwiddie, you have Carson, Sutherland, Wilson's, Ford, McKinney. You have a bunch of different areas that are technically like sub-counties.
So you were born in...
So I was born and raised in DeWitt. There's a farm down there, and then I live in McKinney.
So you live in McKinney now. Mm-hmm. You said that's near like Blackstone or something?
I live on the far side, so near Blackstone.
Man, that's huge.
Basically the backside of Fort Pickett.
Oh, Fort Pickett, that's right.
That is out there. Good God.
Well, damn, we should give you some gas money. Maybe you can hawk this cup, man. And we'll fill up with some gas on your way out.
Yeah. Got a couple 5 gallons back there. We can fill it up.
So
you drive a Subaru. It's okay.
Yeah, see? That's why.
Smart, yeah. How about brothers and sisters?
Mm-hmm. So I have 3 sisters. 2 of them are half sisters, and then I have an older half brother as well.
Dang, pretty big family.
Yeah.
So where did you fall within the grouping? Like youngest, middle, youngest, oldest?
I'm second youngest, but I'm the oldest of my 2 parents together.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh good. Well, damn. How was it growing up So there's only one Dinwiddie High School, right?
Yes.
Damn.
Wait, really?
Yeah. So
Good
we have 5 elementary schools, 1 middle school, 1 high school.
Sounds like Prince George. I guess a lot of those rural counties are like that too.
Yeah.
Because we had kids. Because I taught for a couple years, and we had some kids who were on the bus for like an hour and a half every morning.
Yep.
And to get home.
Oh yeah.
Like we get out of school at 2:30, 3, and they wouldn't get home until 5.
Oh yeah.
Holy smokes.
Especially if there was like a bus driver missing, they would do double backs.
Yep.
Yeah, come get you, and you'd be an hour and a half behind that. So you get home at like 7, 8 o'clock.
Oh yeah.
So what year did you graduate high school?
2014.
2014.
Oh shit, me too.
Sweet.
Y'all the same age.
Yeah, 2014, and then except I went to Dale. So
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Thomas Dale.
Chester, right here on the hill. That's where I grew up.
Yeah, so I know you watched some of the shows, but you realize the hill because this is on Happy Hill. But the other part is on the hill about. Have you heard this before? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, it's like what else would we say?
It's all about storytelling.
Well,
and
I'm gonna let you
people.
tell yours first, and then mine is a little more.
I just know. On the hills. Oh, I got you.
Yeah. He has his own story, and I've got my own
Yeah.
version of the hill.
Usually when people come over, they're like, "We're coming to the hill." They don't say
Right.
your house or we're going to Eric's house tonight. Where they say we're going to the hill. So that's just like the nickname for it.
That's fair.
That's how I see it.
That makes
But
sense.
his is a lot deeper than mine.
So you were a student of mine. I know you did DT when the BJA. I remember that, probably got firearms too, but particularly in the BLE, you were on the firearms range and got to hear all my little crazy speeches. But so the hill for me is like the man,
sorry.
the top person on the planet, like not on the planet, but Jesus died on the hill, man. So it has a lot of different meanings for different folks. That's why I wanted you to go first. Yeah, so she was subject to the
Make me look
madness
bad.
of whatever I would come up with every day.
I can't imagine.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
Well,
That's what I grew up with.
yeah, but it's probably
Same here though. So.
multiply by 10 because you're always playing that role.
Yep.
We'll talk about roles too. All right, so you graduate in 2014, and when did you decide to be interested in law enforcement?
So I was kind of back and forth on it, but it was never because nobody in my family was law enforcement, nothing like that.
Right.
In 2017, I applied and I got hired on, and
There you
that's
go.
all she wrote.
So between 20, so we had like one of Eric's friends on here, and he was like just floating through space for like 20 years before he went to school or something. Nah, it wasn't that long. But so, I mean, it's not unusual for people to graduate. And so what happens is like you graduate and you think you hit the pinnacle, and then you realize Shit, I'm back at the beginning. It's like going from middle school. It's like from going to being a fifth grader in elementary school. You're the top dog. Then you hit middle school. You're like, damn.
You start over
On the peon again. Then from middle school to high school, you're the peon again. So was there a time period between 14 and 17 that you were like, you said you thought about the idea, but I mean, was there anything else? Or did you do any other jobs in between?
Yeah, I worked for my dad for a little while. He has a contracting company. I worked for him for a little bit, and then it really wasn't my thing.
so I mean, he is a general contractor, builds houses, or
no, he works with like VDOT and Dominion for like cybersecurity kind of stuff, and then DMS boards and
damn,
traffic signals, stuff like that.
Oh, cool. Well, that's pretty cool then. Yeah. So I mean, that's your family business, right? Or your dad's?
My dad's, yeah.
So I mean, was he looking for like an heir to take over the business? Like, hey, I need somebody to.
Not so much. It was one of those things that he was like, hey, if you want,
hell yeah,
if you want to try it out, by all means, and we did for a little bit, and I was like, it's not me. I can't sit behind a desk.
Oh, that's cool.
I can't do it.
No, I was just curious. Yeah. Okay, and then like, did your family own a farm? I know you own a farm now. But your dad has a farm. Mm-hmm. What do y'all do with it? What did he do or does now with the farm?
So he's always done it like his kind of main hobby is doing hay. That's kind of his getaway.
Yeah.
And that's always, I mean, even as far as I can remember, I was probably 4 or 5 years old.
Right.
Remembering doing that with him. And so we had horses, and then my papa had cows, so we just all kind of worked together with that. And then I got older, and he has another farm about 15 minutes from me. Still owns the farm we grew up on, and then I have a farm that's kind of like in between the two.
Damn, nice. Yeah, so that's pretty cool, man. Because like, we have a small little lot here. I mean, we own 10 acres of land here. Yeah. Yeah. So the house that we're at now, my wife and I built 15 years ago, but my son lives next door, and then behind us about 8 acres of land. That's cool. And then we're going to end up dividing that and possibly. To the kids or whatever. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. But the point is, I mean, that's kind of what happened in your case. Yeah. Similar, sort of.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like I said, they're not. Unfortunately, I don't know if that's probably a good or a bad thing that they're not connected. But,
that's good sometimes.
Like, a little distance sometimes
is okay.
Spread
out.
But it's like I said, it's only 10, 15 minutes down the road. So cool. If we need anything or we're moving tractors back and forth, it's not bad.
Man.
So what do you guys have on your farm or on your land?
So we have a business under our farm. My husband and I, we do pastured poultry, so chicken, anything. And we also have the egg laying side, and then we have the meat side. So
you do both.
Mm-hmm.
So the egg lands. I mean, okay. So egg land side, like we got like 3 chickens. All right. Mm-hmm. So how many chickens you have?
40.
40 chickens. So are they free range or are they okay? Yeah.
Yep, they kind of just do what they want.
Right, and then they just come into the hen house at night or whatever, lay some eggs. So the reason I'm asking this...
Well, I'm saying y'all used to have more than 3, though.
We used to have like 8 at one time, and then a fox got a couple of them, and then they got sick. And anyway, but, out here was all farmland, the hill. And actually, there's a guy that... One reason we started the show was to get this guy on here because he got so many funny stories, but his grandparents owned a Happy Hill egg farm.
Okay.
But they had 4 row houses, and I think there was like picture like the big chicken houses that run and stretch.
Yep.
I mean, I think probably 25 yards or more long.
I believe it.
I can't remember how many chickens you. I mean, I don't know if I can estimate,
imagine.
but there's several thousand chickens.
Oh, I have no doubt.
Yeah, so and then we were gonna the Happy Hill egg farm. And then as things started developing around here, I think the county kind of, as zoning changed, kind of zoned him out of business.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
So you had a picture of yourself of what car was it? It was a that old car you guys were like on the hood on for that.
I had a Ford Falcon. Yeah.
The Falcon, yeah. And they were out in the yard, and everything over there was just straight farmland. And now it's subdivisions everywhere.
Yeah. So in the backside of the acres behind us is probably 400 homes.
I was gonna say I work this area. So.
Oh, do you really? Yeah. So okay, damn. When I tried to give you direction, you knew where I lived anyway.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you do. Keep an eye out for us. Just don't come down the driveway at night. It's booby trap. Just let me know before you come.
Fair enough.
Yeah, or next door to that guy.
Now that guy's definitely booby trapped. He's a Vietnam vet. original Marine recon, so
Hey, man, you got to be prepared.
top dog.
Oh, he's prepared.
Yeah, so when I sued the city and then they had a bunch of people like after me, you know, I put the word out that my driveway's booby trapped. So, so that's not that, you know, if you actually want to come get somebody, why would you drive down their driveway? You might want to come more covert.
Yeah.
Well, now they know there's 8 acres of woods back there they can sneak up on. So
They can come on through there if they want. That's definitely booby
I was
trap.
going to say, that's probably booby trap, too.
yeah.
Got some punji steaks back there.
No, it's all good. If you
So
Difficult.
yeah.
So once you started in Dinwiddie, was there a decision to come to Chesterfield, or was it kind of just you took what you could
No, so
get?
I loved it down there. You know, I was born and raised down there. It was kind of cool to, you know, work in the community you grew up in.
Damn right, yeah.
And, you know, so for a while I wanted to kind of stay there. And I got to do a lot of fun stuff down there. You know, I got to be part of our SWAT team down there, and that was pretty
That's
cool.
really sweet.
Damn.
And then at some point, you know, I was like, you know, I was looking at the long-term career-wise.
That's right.
And, you know, it's no fault of their own, but the department's so small, it's hard to kind of move.
Yeah.
So I felt like it was a smarter career decision to move to a bigger department. And so then I came to Chesterfield.
Yeah, so, I mean,
I mean, size-wise, you know how much bigger Chesterfield is?
how many officers, I mean, this is not a quiz, but
So comparatively, if on average, Dinwiddie stays around 50-ish
Yeah.
total. Chesterfield has 500.
yeah, I thought it was about 500. I wasn't certain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So when
So
I
I
was
had 50 total
Yeah.
in Dinwiddie.
and how big Dinwiddie, so I'd reckon, I mean, Chesterfield's not small,
No.
but 500 versus 50
It-
for the land mass is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that much bigger.
No. I think is Dinwiddie maybe bigger. I'm not
So
sure.
square footage wise, and Dinwiddie's slightly bigger.
Damn.
Yeah.
See?
But the population is completely different.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
More cows and horses in Dinwiddie than Chesterfield.
That's a fact. that's a fact.
Yeah, you know, it was so funny because a lot of guys would like you know, because I spent my whole career in Petersburg, and at the most, I think we were approved for 100. Maybe it was 120 at one time. Might have been 110. Now it's down to 100.
Yeah.
It was a lot smaller, but the call volume
Oh, absolutely.
probably matched or
Absolutely.
exceeded Chesterfield just because of the area. But the other part of like, you know, I know a lot of guys that over the years went from say Petersburg, which was a good training ground, to Prince George, or even some of the guys went to Dinwiddie. But you know, one thing about being out in the county is most people have guns and most people
Yep.
are aware of what's going on around them. So when you can pull up on somebody's driveway, it's like
Absolutely.
hello.
Yeah, you're going to be...
It was one of those things that, you know, down there, especially on the south side of the county, nobody's really going to call 911 unless something's already gone extremely bad.
Right. Yeah. So basically, most people take care of their own stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Now, when you get to the north end, it's more populated. It's more like about like this area.
Yeah.
So, you know, then you have a lot more feuds where they're going to call more often
Right.
because it's not as kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I can picture that. And you know, the other thing that different. I remember one of the guys had switched over from the city to the county, and this is kind of messed up, but he said like you know, and I'm not talking about like overdoses and stuff, but this is some years ago. But he's like every suicide call that they got might be a possible suicide was a legit call. So like you know, like in a city, somebody might you know, and it was a larger mentally ill population, so they would call for assistance if they didn't. Ran out of medicine or whatever. But he said out in Prince George, if they got a call like that, it was legit. It was like people just, when they said it was a suicide, it was no threat of it. It was like,
That was probably one of the biggest culture shocks when I came to Chesterfield, like domestic calls in particular.
right.
Like Dinwiddie, you were almost guaranteed if you got a domestic call, you're gonna take somebody to jail because they're actively probably still beating the crap out of each other.
Wow.
But up here, a lot of times it's verbal, and I was like, well, they're just arguing. There's nothing I can do about that. You know?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, so I never, you know, thought about what you're saying, but, you know, in the country, and you say it like that because it is a country, rural community, it's like people don't really call the cops or the sheriff's office in this case because they don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want the neighbors to know, and it's a last resort.
Oh, absolutely.
Whereas you get the more urbanized areas, you know, a lot of times where you know, people are dependent upon the government for more things. That they call the police, like you know, you'd have a kid. I remember one of my first calls. My son won't go to school unless he gets to wear his new shoes. I'm like, okay, well, here's a simple solution. just throw the shoes away and send them to school any freaking way.
Yep.
You know. But in the country, that's not going to happen. 'Cause
No.
you're just going to get a butt whipping, then you're going to go to school.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, what about like drugs out there in Dinwiddie? First, I mean, was that a big thing?
So it is. Unfortunately, resources are kind of limited for the law enforcement side down there.
Yeah.
So we could go after it. It was hard to to locate. Now, granted, we knew it was there because between the amount of overdoses and whatnot, and then we had a couple times where we'd try to catch people on the interstate traffic and back and forth. So that it's definitely out there, and a good amount of it.
So I was talking to I'm trying to think who I was talking to recently, but anyway, law enforcement related. But it's gone from when I came on. It was the end. So I'm a lot older than you two guys, but in the mid '90s, it started in '95. Crack was still king.
Mm-hmm.
Heroin and those things were like not even heard of in Petersburg in particular. So now, as time goes on, and really what I was asking about was like, so you out there in Dinwiddie, all this open space, you could have like a meth lab, you could have other those kind of things going on, a big area to grow marijuana. Whereas in the city, you don't have that opportunity because people are going to smell it. But
oh yeah.
I mean, and I get it. There's no way you can combat it, and it's just too dangerous to do with one person or two people. But I just didn't know if y'all had run across any meth labs, or I guess. Or how is that a big drug out there?
It's more heroin.
Man, how does heroin make a rebirth, man?
It's so from what I gather from it, it's more of and that's just because of the stuff that I've done since I came to Chesterfield. Because I became a DRE once I got here.
Hey, you became a what?
A DRE is a drug recognition expert.
Oh,
so,
dang.
That's pretty sweet.
So when you have like
I got
DUIs
some weed. I got some weed I want you to look at. Let me know if it's quality or not. Because you can grow your own weed, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's just take it a little closer.
Yep.
All right. I'm not making fun. So
no, you're good.
All right. So I was just talking about Dinwiddie, but I mean, certainly with Chesterfield, y'all seen a lot more heroin.
Oh yeah.
Man, that's unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
That is wild. Because I thought it would be bigger on the weed side and I guess
our DUIDs
crack or cocaine too.
We're getting a lot more for cannabis use. It's kind of taking the place of alcohol.
Yeah, I mean, how you? Yeah. So that's what I want to hear. I'm tired of smelling the skunk weed every time I ride down the road.
So that's the funny part is a lot of times when someone gets pulled over, and they have marijuana in the car or whatever, if they just smoked a joint and they're just like, well, it's legal. Okay, well, you still can't drive once you're high. That is still illegal.
All right, so how do y'all go about it then? That's interesting. I'm glad to hear this.
So you still go through field sobriety, and if they see anything, any impairment, anything like that, because typically, with weed, you're not going to have like HGN stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
but you're still impaired.
You'll have a lot of the other stuff. So at that point, they'll call me or any of our other DREs that are on, and they'll say, hey, I need an eval done. So they'll go ahead and place them under arrest, bring them to the jail, and then I go in and I do a full evaluation on them. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour.
So, what is the evaluation? I mean, I'm sure you can talk about it because you have to talk about it in court. So what does that involve, the evaluation? So you said I can't hardly hear half the time. Dear officer?
DRE.
DRE.
Yep.
Drug recognition
expert.
Yep. I'm slow, man.
Sometimes you have to say it a couple times too.
Hey, that's okay.
No, I'm kidding. He's not that old yet.
55, dog.
Got that Wray coming in.
My dad, let's see, I'm 28, so he's 58.
There you go. Yeah, that's cool. Okay. So, we're like a little brotherhood, me and your dad.
Hey.
With the old school rap, man, the old school crew.
Go help him with the hay.
Now, that's some hard-ass work. I got sidelined, but there's a lady that I used to work with when I worked at Fort Lee. This is years ago. And her family owned a farm, and she sold like baskets and stuff. We good? Yeah. And but she'd always like, I got to roll out. And she's like, yeah. I mean, and she probably was from Dinwiddie. I wish I could think of her name. Damn. But she's it was like that straw hay season.
Oh, yeah.
So you got the balers, right? Mm-hmm. But you still got to pick that stuff up and throw it on the...
So we switched mostly to round bales. So at that point, you just use a spike on a tractor.
All right, good. Because I always say like people picking up these men and women pick up these bales of straw and like just throwing it on the back of a wagon or some shit or a truck.
Yeah.
That's a man, a woman right there. God,
that shit's heavy, bro.
That's work, Jack.
It's no joke.
So I have no.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I couldn't do it.
Well, I don't know anything about it, but I will say when I was driving to Prince George every day, I noticed couple people had full yards that looked like it was just overgrowing with whatever. And for a while, I was like, "What? Why don't they?" I knew there's been crop there before, but this year it was all just like grass. And then one day I realized it was all cut down and laying around. And then like the next day it was all baled up. I was like, "Damn, they did that quick."
Oh yeah. Oh, it's quick. It's just it gets a little hot.
Oh, I can imagine that. Man. Is the longest process letting it grow out and
so that, and then making sure you have like a set about 3 days between the time you cut it and the time you bale it, that it doesn't rain or because it can't get wet because then it just molds.
Oh, I didn't think about that either.
Yep. And then you lose.
All of it. So so it cannot rain.
Not between those 3 days.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Because when you came to the academy, I mean, it's obviously you're physically fit. So you're not. I mean, and that's probably from hard work and of course, having pride in your physical fitness. But that's one thing about our academy was it wasn't mandatory, and you had people gaining weight during the freaking academy. It's like, what is this? It was a joke, man.
Yeah.
So Chesterfield, y'all had PT and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. At some level.
So in the lateral academy, because I lateraled in, I was already an officer,
right.
So I was able to come in. They have was abbreviated academy, basically.
Yeah.
Just to make sure you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
They had standards, like, so, each day, ours weren't as bad as their brand new recruits by any means. We didn't get yelled at like that. But yeah, we still had a fitness standard, so we would go to the gym throughout the day or whatever.
Good. All right,
that is good.
Yeah, because, I mean, and I'm sure you remember some of this, is you have people in the academies, and it's still going on now. Not say, so Henrico, Chesterfield, Richmond, Hanover had their own academies.
Yep.
But these regional academies, and I'm not saying all of them, you got people in there that they're not getting winded by anything. Yeah. So the time that they're really going to be winded is when somebody's on top of them, fighting. And now you're like, oh, shit, I can't control my breathing. Now what?
Yep.
And then you panic and make bad decisions or be killed.
Oh, absolutely.
So all right. So
that's a real situation.
That's real
not
life.
Just practice.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
No, I mean, it's real. I mean, we're kind of jumping around, but we will go back to the DRE. But so you probably been in some tussles and things. Yeah. So, and you get winded. I mean, you're winded almost instantly. And it seems like that. Of course, if you're in better shape, it's better.
Yeah.
And if you're mentally prepared yourself for the idea that this could happen, you're not shocked as shit by it when it happens. You have a better chance of survival. But you have a lot of pretenders out there that just want to wear the badge and the gun, and they don't know that, hey, that doesn't really matter to some people.
It's almost like they don't think it can happen.
Yeah. It's like, well, you remember the Cooper color code, right?
Which
white, yellow, orange, red. Well, I didn't write that, but that was Jeff Cooper.
Yeah.
What is that?
So white is this is, the world's a good place. Nothing's ever going to happen. When something happens to you, you're surprised. Like, I can't believe this is happening to me.
Yeah.
Code yellow is like you're aware that the world is a dangerous place and that something can happen. Orange is you see something happening and you're aware of it and you start to make a calculated decision, educated, plan of action.
Right.
And then code red is the actual incident, hands on. That was from Colonel Jeff Cooper. So I mean, how many classes have you done, or I guess taught? I don't know, quite a few. But I mean, I was a coordinator a few times, but I've been teaching there for 20 years or more, even as a cop, because if in a regional academy, officers come back and teach.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I mean, go ahead.
I was going to say, I was both. You teaching people, have you seen anybody come in with the white mindset?
Oh, hell yeah.
And leave with
they
it
don't.
too?
Not in my class, they ain't going to leave with the white mindset.
Yeah. But you see them come in and
I've seen them come in.
go through
Well,
thinking
let me
it's
say it
going
like
to be
this.
all...
I can only think of one person, or two people now, that there's no way you can go through 6 months of and I'm not saying me, I'm just a knucklehead, but I mean, I don't sugarcoat this stuff, so that when I left, a lot of people didn't mind so much because, people either love me or hate me. But that role played was purposeful to push people to the limit, and that, I wasn't even allowed to do that. But push people as far as I could push them within that what they would allow. Boundary of what they would allow. So, and people are like, why does this dude such an ass? So, it's not for me.
Yeah.
I don't get my jollies off, yelling at people and going crazy. I mean, sometimes it's funny and fun because it's just my nature. But the other part of it is I'm trying to save your freaking life.
Yeah.
So, it's, whoever would call me is like, why? Somebody said you said this. You compared COVID to Nazi Germany. I'm like, okay, well, they're locking people down like Nazi Germany. People are snitching on each other like Nazi Germany. So what the hell you want to call it? That's how this whole thing started in Germany. But anyway, social control. But I said, I'm trying to save these freaking people's lives, man. What else do you want?
Yeah. Now, have you worked with people who have that mindset?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I feel like if you go in, you're automatically setting yourself up for failure at that point because it's going to happen. And if something that he says offends you, then you're probably in the wrong line of work because you're going to get worse on a daily, just about.
Yeah, I mean, so you can't go like, you're a stupid MF to a student, a recruit, but you can say, I would role play even with myself. Like, I was walking down the street and the middle, what the fuck, motherfucker? And I'm talking like that's what people are saying to me.
Right.
And they were like offended. I'm like, I didn't call anybody that. I'm role playing. I'm trying to tell you how people really speak to officers on the street. So, but to answer your question, there were 2 recruits that I can think of, and they made it through the academy, but they pretty much, either whined their way through, faked injury. But at the end of the day, they're out here now, still out here. Some of them jumping agencies, one still with one agency, but they still live in a fantasy world, and they're going to get somebody else killed.
I'll say it's dangerous for everybody else.
That's the big.
That's the bad part. Yeah,
yeah, because you're, I don't know if it's scared or just oblivious.
It could be a combination of both.
Yeah,
a lot of the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I can't think of the guy's name, but he wrote I'll think of it a little bit later. But he said like denial kills you twice. The moment that it happens and you realize that it happened to me, and then later if you survive it, you get to relive it in your brain, and you deny the fact that you weren't prepared for what you're doing. So, and the other part of it is if you make a mistake and you're gonna mess up, you're gonna make mistakes, and you've been doing this now almost how many years? So 7 years. So, I mean, you should, and I know you anyway. I mean, I know we don't know each other personally, but we know each other professionally. Let's say. And I know damn well that you're your own harshest critic. So if you did something wrong, you're going to think how you could do it better, not point the finger at somebody else. Well, they did this, and this is why it happened.
Absolutely.
You've never said anything like that. Where if you got people every single day, that's all they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, well, that wasn't fair. It wasn't this. I'm like, dude, when somebody's beating your ass, it ain't fair. Ain't nothing fair about it. They don't care about nothing but hurting you. And they hate you before wearing the badge.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then race and then sex becomes an issue. It's like people don't care about that.
Yeah.
Because all they see is the badge, and if you're a black cop in Petersburg, they hate you even more. It's like you sold out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They automatically hate the white cops. They're like, they I'm not saying everybody, of course, but the criminal element.
Yeah.
But then if you're a African American or black officer, like, what are you doing? Why are you working for the man?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it's.
And then when a female, in your case, I mean, how does that play out for you? And
So it goes one of two ways. If per se, we have a guy that's rather hot-headed, it's going to go one of two ways. Either he's going to take it as a joke that I'm there because I'm not going to talk to a woman.
Right.
Which, that's fine. If you don't want to talk to me, that's fine. But we're still going to handle whatever we have to handle.
That's right.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
If you don't need my help, then I can leave. Or, if there's something else that we need to address, we can do that. Or they're more apt to talk to me because I am a female.
Right. So that's a great point. Yeah.
It's a 50-50.
So, anybody's like, oh, I mean, first of all, so you show up and a guy's like, I've seen this happen with females to male. I've seen if it's happened to me where as a white officer, a black person or a citizen didn't want to talk to me, they didn't want to talk to her either. And it could be a female or it could be another, African-American, black or whatever, because I'm not talking to a white guy about this, a white officer.
Yep.
So, and then you flip it is, and that's, but it probably doesn't happen to me as much as it happened. Is it something that happens all the time for you, or is it?
Yes,
we're here for the call, right?
Right.
And when you're standing here, and you're the primary, and I'm automatically talking to him, who's the secondary.
Yep.
And it's not even said. It's just that subtle. You're talking. How can I help you today? I'm like, hey, bro. Let me tell you what happened.
So typically, and I guess it's kind of over time how you deal with those things.
Yeah.
Some people I've noticed, some people will just kind of back off and say whatever if they're more comfortable talking to them. If I'm there, I'm going to talk to you. So at that point, I'm like, I'm here, talk to me. It's not being disrespectful about it. I'm like, look, I'm the one handling this, so
that's right.
I'm the one you got to talk to.
And good for you for doing that, right?
Yeah, because at that point, you're equal to...
Oh, absolutely. I was like, look.
Or you're
not. It's not equal. She's the one in charge.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that for you by saying it, but if you're an officer and you're there, you're in control of the scene.
Yeah.
Well, no, I meant if there's another officer there, you guys are both equals, or you could be more experienced than whoever's there.
So usually, I I don't know.
Yeah, I wasn't saying.
No, I knew you weren't saying that. No, 'cause, I mean, we got to be so sensitive now.
Oh, no. You're
I know
good.
you weren't saying that, but I was saying was to the citizen. You know, because men think some men think they're over women, and or whatever.
Oh, absolutely.
And she's like, no, I'm gonna handle this call. I'm the primary officer. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, stay on your side of the table, man. It's okay.
Damn.
No, I'm kidding.
We were always real friendly when we started doing this. Now we're like number 10. We're like at each other's throats. Plus we're father son. But all right, so I'm just trying to think. So
I had something pop into my head though.
go ahead.
Shit, hold on. Let me think. Okay, when we were talking about when you're dealing with, dang it, never mind. You keep going.
Well,
I forgot what I was gonna say.
no, that's all right. I mean, I do interrupt people a lot. Cody's like, yeah, no.
He gets that from teaching his classes.
Yep.
Well, as a kid, I was always interrupted, man.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, I was gonna say you were a single child for most of your.
That's what I mean.
Oh, by your parents.
Yeah,
That's okay.
having a bad memory, man.
Hey.
Nah, I'm just bullshit. All right, but that is true. So I grew up in a house where my dad was a firefighter, and every other word came out of his mouth was F. Like everybody that met him was like, "Is your?" I called him dad. I said, "Is your dad okay? Is something wrong with him?" I'm like, no, this is how he talks. I'd walk in the house. You live in a goddamn barn, slam the goddamn door.
Yep.
That's how I grew up.
Same here.
When I was thinking when you're out there, and some people don't have that physical mindset, like they don't want to get involved.
Yes.
And I feel like there's the mental barrier there where it's like if you get too tired and your body shuts down, your mind shuts down. But I think if you grew up working for a living and probably staying pretty active, so like that part of your brain's already
Yeah.
like in you.
Yeah.
Because you were doing the physical work, lifting heavy shit and pushing
Out in the
heavy
heat,
shit,
out in the
and
weather.
out in the heat. It's like that's already like built in. So I feel like then it's just dealing with.
Oh, absolutely. And I think a
People.
lot of that does go into how people were raised. And it's no fault of their own. If you were raised, more sheltered per se, like you didn't have outside influence to, make you want to do those things, or you weren't involved in per se even sports or anything really.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that, but you don't develop that drive to want to keep pushing through things. Now you can on your own, but it's not like drilled into you from day one.
Yeah, it's not just part of you.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and that sounds like common sense to the three of us, but for some people, the idea of like physical activity, they're totally repulsed by it.
Yeah,
I mean, you'll drive through any neighborhood today and there's no kids outside playing.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, today is hot, but let's just say any day.
Yeah.
And I drive to these neighborhoods and ride my bike or whatever, and it's like, there's nobody outside playing.
Nope.
That's all we did because, I mean, we didn't
video
have-
games now. As it's all video games now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yes.
So when they get outside in the heat or it's cold or it's raining and it's muddy or they're like, like, what is this? Like we have a mud puddle on the range. Everybody try to walk around. I'm like, no, walk through the freaking mud puddle. Your ass is going to get dirty.
Yeah.
So, and because what do you think is going to happen on duty? You're going to get your ass busted, chase somebody and fall or you get covered in mud. You ain't just going to stop. Oh, well, I'm dirty now.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
When I was just thinking, like you've mentioned before, I guess doing DT, like you can tell if someone's never
Oh, yeah.
touched somebody or like try to wrestle somebody before,
Yep.
and you're like, what the hell are they doing?
Well, I mean, you might remember this. And as like, when I was in elementary school, people would do forward rolls. You played, all
Yep.
that kind of shit. So it's like, all right. So when we had to teach a certain technique, we had to teach people how to do a forward roll because nobody's ever did a forward roll in their life. It's like, what are they teaching? And because you got to have some experience, or they just have never even touched another human being, outside somebody that they're familiar with, family or friends. But so that whole thing is a whole nother, set of problems to overcome. All right, so back to the DRE.
Yeah.
All right, so
Oh yeah, we strayed far away from that.
That's okay.
I like it like that. That way, not just like, hey, let's go by the script.
Yeah.
We had Greenberg. Did you see Greenberg?
I did.
So yeah. Now I'm gonna go off on one
Here
thing.
we go.
No. So you said you when you went to the academy BLE, what class was it? Damn.
I don't remember.
Damn.
I don't remember.
Hey, all right. Well, I'll just ask because when I said you were coming on, he said that's my classmate. He's like 94 representative, whatever it was. You weren't the 94. 93. Yeah.
There you go.
Did you have
Jog the
a
memory.
Did you have a class motto in there that y'all would say?
Oh boy.
Oh god, put it on the spot again.
Oh yeah, because we made a T-shirt.
Yeah. What was it?
Workhorse, show
Oh,
horse.
that was what's his name? Shit.
Dobbs.
Yeah, but he also got that from Rod Davis.
And yeah, he did.
Workhorse show horse.
Yeah.
Workhorse show horse. Is that what it is?
There was
heard of
another
that
piece
before.
to it, but I can't remember what it was now.
All right, now Rod's gonna kill me. Him and Master Kim will kill you.
So it wasn't one of your sayings though.
Hell no.
No, it was.
It would never been that.
I know we got hard chargers.
Yeah, that's what this shirt is, man. Hard charger.
There you go.
There you go, man. It says if you're comfortable, you're wrong.
That's a fact.
Now Chesterfield's gonna your chief's gonna try to steal that, man.
Hey, that's okay. That's okay.
I got a copyright to it, man.
There you
All
go.
right, so DRE. All right, let's go about that. Oh no, what I was gonna say was so. All right, so Greenberg, psychologist. I mean, if you saw the episode, he's certainly a smart guy. Knows his stuff. He's helped, thousands of people.
Oh yeah.
Probably heard a few. No, I'm just kidding. No, he's gonna be mad. I'm kidding, dude. He's a cop. I mean, he might have to arrest some people as well.
Oh yeah.
All right, so you guys, did you ever work with him on the road and stuff?
I never got to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I want to hear the Greenberg story.
Oh, trust me, I wish I had one because I was looking forward to it.
Yes. So you said, but when you first came in, before we came in here, was like we mentioned Greenberg, and you said that he had. So when you were hired, you had to go through a what?
I had a psychological eval, and then.
And he's the one that did it.
Yep. When I originally got hired on the Dinwiddie, he was the one that did it.
Dang.
He's everywhere, man.
Oh yeah.
He talked about all the states he's been to, and
Yeah. No, he's no
like
joke.
5 years here, 5 years here.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's cool. I mean, when he was in your class, we bumped heads a few times. Like he was gonna say a prayer on the range. I'm like, nah, dude, you can stop right there.
Yep.
Wasn't the time.
That wasn't the time for that prayer, man.
At that point, nothing could help you.
What's that?
I said at that point, nothing could help you.
Nah. I can't remember what happened, but it was like, bro.
He lost it on everybody that day. It was hilarious.
Oh God.
It wasn't hilarious at the time.
No. Funny now.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's all an act, but I mean, sometimes I really get pissed, but not very
Nah,
often.
you're probably pissed.
Oh yeah.
Oh well. At least I tried 100%. Shit.
Oh yeah.
I gave my heart and soul to that shit.
Oh yeah.
Was there more to it, or was it just?
I can't even remember what caused it.
Just the episode. Yeah, but it usually was legit. It wasn't some bullshit.
It was. Whatever it was legit. I just don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right. DRE, drug. What is it?
Drug recognition expert.
Oh, all
I'm
right.
gonna start asking you what it is.
If I don't write something down, I can't. I'm terrible. I got to write something down.
That's fair.
What does it mean?
I'm the same
Huh?
way.
DRE.
Drug recognition expert.
Yeah, there you go.
Plus, I don't have my contacts in. That makes me dumber.
Can't see right.
Can't see right. Yeah. All right. So go ahead. All right. So how long was the class certification to be?
So you go to Virginia State Police Academy
Damn.
for there's a 2-week course there. You have 3 tests in there, and each one is a simple pass-fail. Either you're out or you're in.
Man. The state police don't bullshit.
No, because it's put on through DMV partners with them and everything.
Wow.
So it's
It's serious.
oh yeah, because I mean at that point, at any point, I can testify as an expert in court
Damn.
for this purpose. So when you go through it, it's a lot. Like the binders are like, and you have to know
Wow.
all of it.
So I mean, did you have interest in that, or just what the county asked you to do, or something?
No, so it was voluntary. I've always been more. I love DUIs and DUIDs. That's kind of
Right. That's good. Yeah.
my way to go. And granted, I have a personal bias against them anyways because of personal instance. So at the end of the day, I don't really care for
Right.
anything in that realm. So I kind of crack down on
Well, good.
that side of things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you don't have to go into what it was. I mean, you think if you share, it might help somebody else, but you don't think you have to.
No, so when I was a lot younger, a family member was hit by a car when they were crossing the street. The driver was drunk,
Man.
and in turn, that person ended up with substance abuse issues because of painkillers and whatnot.
Right.
And then it just went on from there. And then countless people over the years that I know
Yeah.
between drunk drivers and drivers that were impaired in one way or another. So when I got the opportunity, I was like, yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah, that's great. No, I mean, I get it. I mean, people get into this business some people just get into it because they don't know what it's all about. But you were kind of on a mission too, and then once you got involved in it, you knew what you were really what. So it's like anything else. If you study something that you like and are interested in, you'll do well. If somebody makes you do something, you're probably not going to be as it's not your heart's not into it. So that's awesome. That's cool.
Well, and it's funny too because it changed actually over the years. Because originally I started because of domestic violence, and then it kind of changed and shifted after a while. And then, granted, that's still a priority, but the other became more of my specialty.
Well, good. Yeah.
But other than the class, there's also a certification week that you have to go to.
Wow. That's pretty good. Now you have to research and stuff, or you set?
Nope, you have to research every 2 years.
Yeah.
But the certification week is actually at a mental health facility, and they get people who are impaired to come in, and you have to get it on. You have to get it right.
Wow. So where did you do your? Can you?
In Roanoke.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, like if you went through CIT, Crisis Intervention Training, I think that's what it stands for, right?
I don't know.
But yeah, you'd go around and go to like Tucker, Central State, or somebody, something like that to see, people who are mentally ill. So in this case, you actually went to like a unit, mental health unit where people are high or detoxing or something like that.
So they actually would go around the city that we were in and ask people, say, hey, do you mind?
Oh, dang.
And that's thing we were in plain clothes and everything because they didn't want the awkwardness of,
yeah.
hey, this cop is going to do this. So they came in and they would allow us to do evals on them. We had to call it right.
Oh, that's pretty good then.
So what's the process of that? If you have somebody and if you can go through
so
that.
like you had a guy for the weed arrest. What would you, that's what
Okay,
kind
so,
of stop.
if someone stops and they're trying to arrest them for DUID, they go ahead and, if they have enough to arrest them, then they go ahead and do that because all they need is the PC at that point. So they bring him to the jail. I get called and I come to the jail. I'll basically it's a 12-step process that I have to go through. I have to talk to the officer. We try to get a blood draw, all this other stuff.
Right.
Well, then when it comes to the actual test themselves, most of them look like the field sobriety test. But then you have like a mixture of, are you familiar with ARIDE?
More letters.
I'm bad. I'm going.
So it's advanced roadside impairment detection. So what that does is basically for drugs.
That's cool though. Yeah, I'm really serious about this. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's more tests you can do on the side of the road.
Okay.
For drug impairment.
Okay.
So I'll do those tests and then kind of put it all together.
Okay,
I
cool.
also have to take blood pressures, temperatures, pulses, stuff like that. So measure to kind of see how they've done throughout. I have to measure pupils and everything. Yeah,
because people have been asking that, so this, I think, if you were in a class, I've ever said, it's like you're going to become the subject matter expert. You are a real subject matter expert, but to your friends, you're the subject matter expert on guns, DUIs, common laws, all this stuff. You're like, hold up, dude, I don't know all, Because remember that, we were in firearms, people somebody shoots a 76 and passes. You're like, okay, well, from now on, you're like a firearm expert to all your family and friends. And you're like, this cat can't hardly hold a gun. But, people were asking that. And I was like, I know that I'd read about they had like a, for marijuana, there's like a kind of like a field alcohol sensor, but it's not very reliable. So Chesterfield would use it a lot more. That's good. Because, these people, they're smoking weed, with impunity driving down the road.
It's basically taken over alcohol. Now, granted, you still have plenty of alcohol DUIs out there.
Yeah.
We get them nonstop, but it's either typically accompanied with marijuana or it is marijuana or something else. We see a lot of meth too. So
damn.
So I got two questions. Is it so if you get it's DUID, driving under the influence of drugs. So if you get arrested for that and they go through you and you determine that they are impaired. Do you get the same punishment as a DUI? Like, if it goes through all the way, do you lose your license and things like that?
Yep, it's still treated the same way as a DUI. It's just because DUI strictly is for alcohol.
Yeah.
The good thing about DUIDs, a drug itself can be classified as anything that can alter you. So that can be your sleeping pills.
Yeah.
That can be caffeine. We've had it happen.
Yeah,
so,
people just hyped up with these energy drinks. Yeah, I can see that, yeah.
Sleep deprivation. Now, granted, that's not a drug itself because, if you're sleep deprived, but...
Still impaired driving.
Exactly. So now, granted, in that kind of case, you would try to just get the person home because...
Right.
But if you believe that there's something on board, whether they've taken too many of their pills that are prescribed, or it's a new medication that they're not used to. That can impair you. People don't realize that.
Is part of your job determining what it is too, if they don't say it?
I have to put it in a category. There's all drugs of any sort are put into several different categories, and then I have to call the category that I think. I can call multiple, but I have to have majority correct.
Man,
damn, that's pressure.
Yeah, that's nice.
But that's awesome though.
Yeah, I'm proud of you for that. That's awesome, because that makes a big difference. Because these people are just driving impaired. I mean, DUI you can pretty much tell if somebody's legally drunk. It's obvious.
Absolutely.
But I mean, you cannot ride down the road and not smell weed anywhere you go almost now.
Is there anything for just a stupid driver?
I mean, there's a code section for everything, so we can find one.
Reckless driving.
There's plenty of those.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the streets. I mean, particularly the interstate's gone crazy, man.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I was kidding about the weed, but we did grow some weed almost as a joke, but we had plants that were like 6 feet tall, man, in the back.
Over 6 feet tall. They were taller.
Well, I mean, so my wife don't like me talking about her on here, but, my wife had cancer, and she's cancer-free now, but, some of that was, we were naive to the grow season, let's say it like that.
Yeah.
We already did it once.
Oh, yeah.
But you act like it's going to grow like a tomato plant. You forget that. This is it's like 4 or 5 months process.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, we had the idea maybe that would help with their chemo and stuff, which was approved. But, that's not how that works. It's a little bit of a process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Then you got,
Yeah, so we've had, we end up, with, 13, 14 mason jar of buds. But we don't smoke weed, per se. I mean, I can't smoke weed,
you might need to do a test on him right now.
But I'll be honest, I did try to smoke it. I hadn't smoked it since I was a cop, and since I was literally in high school, because I had a panic attack from smoking it. So I tried it. When we finally dried some out, I had to crawl into the house. We had to dial 911.
It's funny because we actually have that issue a lot.
It was terrible, man.
People go into basically a psychosis.
I went to a
cannabis.
psychosis, dog.
And they call the police?
All the time.
Yeah. I knew I wasn't going to call the police or 911. I just said, what time is it? I knew I had about a 3-hour period. Yeah. He was this little porter opened in front of me. He's like, I was like, and Shelly's like, because she's a nurse. She's like, open your eyes, dumbass. I'm like, I can't. There's a portal right here, like a time portal or something. God damn.
He was asking her to pour water into his mouth.
Hey, I mean,
Well, the wild part was, and I don't mind. I mean, nobody can do anything to me. I don't work for anybody. I do work, but not for the state. I'm retired. But anyway, the point was, it wasn't like I had, I remember in high school, the last time I ever smoked it, I knew it was, I was getting myself freaked out.
Right.
This wasn't even that. It was like an instantaneous physiological change. I didn't even have to consider it. It was like I was in this state where my heart rate was through the roof. I was sweating profusely. I couldn't really stand.
Oh, yeah.
I literally had to crawl into the house.
Yep.
And I was like, well, there you go. Never again.
Yep.
I mean, I knew I wasn't going to die, but it was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, even the people, when we get calls for it, they're like, what can you do for it? I'm like, you just got to take the ride at this point. I mean, you can go to the hospital. There's literally nothing. I mean,
nothing you can do. Yeah,
you got to take the ride at this point.
Yeah,
so.
you can ride it through, man. So, but I mean, and I make light of it, but I mean, I'm a recovering alcoholic, so I've been sober 18 years, and I know some people were like, well, damn, dude, if you tried weed, are you still sober? But I mean, I'm not addicted to weed. I don't have to worry about that. I'm never going to smoke it again because I don't want to go for that ride.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But as far as, I mean, they've got, and it's different things. You can have edibles that have a different experience on people and different types. But the other part of it is, and this, is weed's 5 to 10 times more potent than it was when I was a kid.
At least. We actually were doing studies on that during my DRE school. It's by far,
That's unbelievable. It's terrifying.
by far.
Yeah, so that's probably what people. So you might. I mean, so when you say you run these calls, it's not just some kids or some drug heads. It's probably just regular people.
Yeah, and a lot of them are like, "Hey, I tried a gummy, but I ate the whole thing," or or I ate half of it, and nobody told me to take just the leg of the gummy bear, not the whole gummy bear.
Right.
That'll do it.
Yeah. So what I mean is, it's not like we're talking about regular people because it's legal now. And people are like, "Hey, I tried it as a kid. I'm going to try it again," and they don't realize it's 10 times, 20 times stronger.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they're going for the ride of their lives, man.
Yeah.
We saw that too.
Yeah.
I won't say who it was, but
well,
a family member.
Yeah. And the other thing about it is, I know we're kind of getting off topic, but, the older you are, if you're past 25, and probably really 30 would be better, particularly for males. Weed probably is not really going to damage you. I mean, you could be, had the tendency to be schizophrenic or have that you're right there at it. It could take you over the edge. But what you're seeing is most dangerous is for younger people.
Yep.
So he was teaching in middle school, and kids were smoking weed out of these vapes, and God knows what the THC level was.
Yeah.
And they're like 13, 14 years old. Well, that's really destroying their brain. I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, it's not like it's some kind of joke.
Well, plus it's the liquid cartridges. You don't know what.
There's so many chemicals in those. It's not even
Right. I mean, it's just
And
terrifying.
You can buy the cartridges empty.
Yeah.
And people can put whatever they want in them and sell them as whatever.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
I was talking to the resource officer there, and he said the kids were going to the nurse with non-marijuana related symptoms because who knows what was in them, because kids would buy them online, and it was all the same cartridge, but every single one they recovered was different. Whatever was inside it was different.
Oh, absolutely.
So, I mean, all right. So, well, I'm talking about weed. I mean, we had a friend, I guess we're associates or acquaintances rather. Her son had bought some weed, and it was in Chesterfield. It had, fentanyl in the weed. And he smoked it, and, she knew he had weed, but she didn't, and he literally died, from the fentanyl poison.
Yeah.
Yep.
You guys have a lot of that too.
Yes and no. We do, but like typically, if we're gonna see it, it's with heroin.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
So you don't see a lot of fentanyl in the county?
We do, but we don't. Like
Yeah.
it's not like it's everywhere kind of deal. It's
Yeah. So, I mean, how prevalent do you think the heroin is? I mean, I know you don't have,
it's out of all, when it comes to different drugs that we typically find, like it's almost guaranteed it's going to be either heroin or meth, just about, but mostly heroin.
Man, because heroin for a long time, it just pretty much had disappeared. And then now here it is again. I guess is it the price of it or what is it?
It's more affordable, but then also the length of it, the length
amount,
of that
yeah.
high. I mean, it lasts for a while, and so that's why too. Like when it comes to the DRE side of it, that's why we can get convictions for that stuff like that because of how long it actually impacts the body.
That makes sense.
Same thing with marijuana. If you tell me you smoked it at 2:00 this morning, well, guess what? It can impair you for over 24 hours.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's the only if you smoked it once. So
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, some people just keep it going.
I know. Looking at me.
I wasn't looking at you. I was
No,
just
it ain't me. But yeah, I got people in my family. I mean, they never come down off the high, man.
Yeah.
Either they're eating an edible or they're smoking a joint, man.
Now, and it doesn't mean that at some point, the body is used to it, but still there's factors there that can't be
Yeah.
denied. That,
Is there any part of it that you guys trying to figure out where this stuff comes from, or is it, or you mostly just focus on the person?
So we have different specialty units and whatnot with the department that they try to find that kind of stuff.
Like a vice narcotics unit.
Yeah. Yep. We have vice narcotics. We have we have so many different.
Yeah, because
units.
such a big county, and you should be well funded because the county pays pay a lot of taxes to live here.
Yeah. Yeah, they take care of us.
That's good. Yeah, they do, man. You got all the right stuff. All right, so let's see. Let's see. So you were actually a patrol officer then. All right, and then, I mean, do y'all rotate shifts? Or are you permanent shifts, 12-hour shift, 10-hour shifts? How is it?
We're permanent. I work nights, and it's the 12-hour shifts.
Wow. From it could be anything. 7 to 7, 8 to 8.
6 to 6.
All right, cool. Well, how do you like the night shift?
I love it. I refuse to go to day shift.
Yeah, some people.
Really?
I couldn't do nights, but some people love it, man.
That's pretty cool.
Day shift, Kody gets complaints.
Yeah. All right, so you were all right. So we covered. So you were in Dinwiddie as a BJA as a jailer for like a year or so.
Yeah, just under, and then I went to.
Well, how long? 5 years there as a patrol deputy, maybe,
In Dinwiddie.
and 2 years in Chesterfield, or longer now.
Since 21. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. And what is your overall goal? I mean, what is your? And now these are just kind of. Well, I want to get to your kids and all that, but let's just get to this. I mean, what do you see yourself in 10 years? I mean,
Honestly, I don't know. I love what I currently do.
okay, cool, yeah.
That's the thing, we have a impaired driving team.
Oh, good.
That I'm looking into.
Oh, dang.
Then you literally drive around
And that's what you do.
Look for DUIs nonstop.
Damn.
So,
See, in P-Town, we never had enough
cool.
people to do that. But
yeah, that was another thing about coming here. I was like, that's awesome.
No, that's cool.
I can ride
But there's
around
plenty of
look
them
for
around here.
DUIs.
That'd be cool. That's
Oh, yeah.
awesome. Yeah, and they probably have because somebody's like, I want to be an investigator. I want to be in Bison
Mm-hmm.
Cox. I want to do these things. I want to be forensics. But, I mean, that's your thing. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Now, you said, you've had personal stories about people who've been affected by by DUI drivers or things like that.
And prescription meds, too.
Yeah,
Oh,
medications.
absolutely.
Is there? Because I won't lie. I have people I know who occasionally drive drunk and just don't want to pay the price for an Uber or whatever.
Yep.
But you see it firsthand.
Oh, absolutely.
Probably daily.
Yeah.
So, what would you say to people who are about to get in the car and buckle in?
At the end of the day, everybody always is like, "Oh, I'm good." You're not. Like that. That's the biggest thing that I hear is I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
No, you're not. No matter what you say, how many times you've done it, how many times you haven't gotten caught.
Right.
or
Yeah.
That's the
if
thing, yeah.
you just got fortunate and made it home.
It only takes one time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's a life changer if you get a DUI. I mean, it's,
Well,
it's
that
huge.
and how are you going to feel if you kill somebody?
Exactly.
You just, or yourself for that matter. I mean, granted, you won't know any different, but your family and everybody
Oh, yeah.
else.
I mean, yeah, exactly. That's the
It
thing.
goes further than just you.
Yeah, if that's always, particularly nowadays, if you drink and drive, you're a fool. You're an ass because Ubers are so easy. When I was a
Especially in
kid,
an area like this. I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
understand it. Like, out where I live, it's if you need to call your buddy, go ahead and call your buddy or whatever. But out
Right.
here, I mean,
right?
you have Uber, Lyft, taxis. You have the
All the
bus.
time.
Yeah,
So, there's so many forms of transportation you can choose.
yeah.
Well, what's the? I don't know if either you know this, but like the average cost if you got a DUI, not minus losing your license, but like for court cost and
I honestly
driving school
have
and
no
all that kind of
idea.
stuff.
I know it's up there, but
mean, it's-
I honestly have no idea.
I mean, it's gonna be. I bet nowadays it's probably easily $10,000 when it's all said and done. Because you
Especially
gotta,
your lawyers.
you gotta have a lawyer.
Yeah.
You got court cost of court. You gotta
Any
go
fines
to,
that the
ASAP
judges-
program,
Fines, yeah.
alcohol safety action program. You gotta do that for a year to have a
if you
restricted
have
license.
interlock,
Yeah, you got that airlock, or depends on the amount of alcohol in your system. You might have that thing you got to blow in to start
Oh.
your car.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, $10,000. I bet that's probably about. We can look it up later, but I bet it's $10,000.
Yeah,
it
a
definitely
lot more
could
than
be.
an Uber.
Yeah.
That's my whole point. Yeah, it's ridiculous, man.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, look it up. The average cost of a DUI. All right, so now we're gonna fast forward to, you're married and your husband is a firefighter here in Chesterfield.
Yep.
So was he a firefighter here first, or were you a cop in Chesterfield first?
He was a firefighter up here first.
Dang. So y'all met on the job.
So we met.
You don't have to tell us if you don't want to.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. So we actually met when I worked in Dinwiddie. He was a volunteer firefighter down there as well. So
There you go. He's a smart man now. I really like your husband.
So I went to a wreck on the interstate, and he showed up, and he wouldn't stop talking. He kept getting on my nerves. And I told him, I was like, look, this lady hit a deer. Go find it. I was just wanting to make him go away. And he comes back a few minutes later. He's like, hey, I found the deer.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did.
My man was dedicated.
Yeah.
Boy.
I was like, well, go find it again. And then a couple months later, because at the time I was also a volunteer firefighter, I was going through my Fire One stuff.
Uh-oh.
I didn't see him after that. Well, a couple months later, I was in one of my Fire One classes, and he was my instructor.
Oh, shit.
And after that was all she wrote.
He's like, hey, you remember that deer?
Yeah, I was like, oh, I just told this guy off about a month ago.
But he was smart, and he played along, man.
He did.
And how long ago was that?
Oh, Lord. 2017 or 18.
That's good.
Nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's cool, man. That's a great story. Yeah, because, I mean, he's a smart guy, man. So anyway, so you met, I mean, and then you guys, how long y'all been married?
We got married in 2020.
Dang. All right, cool. Newlyweds, really cool.
During COVID too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, this year, both of my kids got married, so same year.
Yeah, I got married in April.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And then, yeah.
It's a fun ride.
It is.
Yeah, it's nice when you find somebody you really care about. It makes
That's
a
a
big
fact.
difference in your life.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, then my daughter
Took
got
long
married
enough.
a month after. Huh?
I said it took long enough. We've been dating for 9 years. And then we finally.
Okay.
Yes.
And then Megan got married in May. They were dating for,
I guess
3 or 4 years, something like
yeah,
that.
something like that, maybe, yeah. So I mean, we got lucky as parents. You want the best for your kids.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
when they meet somebody that's going to treat them with respect and they care about each other and truly love each other, I mean, that's what else could you ask for?
Oh, absolutely.
That's it.
I feel like it always goes like that because Tommy was hitting on Megan for a while, and she kept denying him. And then eventually she was like, "Oh, there we go. I guess I'll give him a
Persistence
chance."
pays, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does.
And then I asked Frankie out, and she said no the first time. Then she ended up asking me out because I was sitting there all hurt and like, well, I tried.
Hey, yeah, sometimes it goes both ways.
Yeah.
That's good. That worked out good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember when I met my wife in marching band in like 84. But anyway, the first time I told her I loved her, she's like, okay. I'm like, yo, man, what's up? She's like, I was mad. We were actually at Dutch Gap, man.
Oh God.
You remember? Yeah, they had an article about Dutch Gap. They're building a fence or something down there. But yeah, the Gap,
Yeah.
man.
Oh, yeah.
So have you been through there?
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of drugs on there.
So it's not so much that, just,
Yeah, a lot of
well, we had to kick a lot of people out.
yeah. Certain population migrates there.
Yeah.
But that back in the 80s, it wasn't like that. So that was like the makeout spot, man.
I think it still is.
At some level, yeah. All right, so then, because you and y'all have two babies, 2 boys, 2 girls, a boy. I don't know.
Girl and a boy. I had a son, and he had a daughter coming in. And
Cool.
then we got together, and they act like brother and sister. They're only 5 months apart, which actually works out.
Wow.
It was really cool.
That's pretty
Awesome.
cool then.
Yeah.
That does work out.
Yeah, I mean, you always people like, is it blood or are you blood family or what the hell am I trying to say? Related by blood. That shit is irrelevant, man.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
Because I had my buddy on here. He was talking about having half brothers and half sisters.
Yeah.
He never
yeah.
refers to them as that.
no.
He just says my
No.
brother and sister.
Well, that's not, I say my kids or my daughter. I don't,
That's right.
I don't see her as my stepdaughter. We use the term bonus if we are going to use it, but we say bonus daughter or bonus mom,
Yeah.
but
I've got you. That's
stuff
cool
like
though.
that. Because
And how old are they?
they're both 8.
Damn.
So they're going, what is that? Third
Third
grade?
grade.
Wow. How do they like school and stuff?
They're homeschooled, so they
There you
love
go.
it.
So who does can I ask who does the homeschooling?
So between us and then Charlotte's mom will help out with hers, and then Cohen's babysitter, my son's babysitter, she'll help with it.
All right.
She'll do most of his.
Dang. That's cool. So how long has your husband been in Chesterfield?
He started in, I want to say 2018.
Okay, cool. Well, that's good. Yeah, I mean, Chesterfield is a great, both, police and fire, but I think the fire department, people don't leave. Once you get in Chesterfield Fire Department,
Yeah.
they like less than 1%.
stuck.
Yeah.
Well, nobody wants to leave.
Yeah.
So my stepdad, who I call dad, he started in Chesterfield as a firefighter for 15 years. He was a sergeant, and then he went out to when Sandston at the Air National Guard base was an active base with the F-16s. He was the chief out there until they moved it to Langley. But
Okay.
so I grew up around firefighters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Does he do the 24 on?
Yep, he has
48?
24, 48s, and then, if he gets mandatory, then it's 48 on, and then 24 off back to the 24.
I got you. So that helps with the homeschooling too, I'm sure.
Yeah, because our schedule works out really well to where we see each other the majority of the time, and then we also see the kids the majority of the time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because I only miss them being asleep.
Yeah.
I work at night.
That's cool. That's good. Yeah. All right. So, do you want to talk about your name of your farm and stuff? And
Sure.
y'all sell eggs and stuff.
Eggs and chicken and
Yeah, actually, feel like chicken to eat. Do y'all have any? I know I'm slow. These are the questions I like to ask. And then, so no beef or anything like that.
so we'll have beef coming at the end of the year.
Oh, nice.
Damn, I want some of this.
Absolutely.
I can get eggs. I just can't eat.
It's
my
not
own.
like you don't know how to contact me.
Yeah, I know. Well, I didn't know much about the farm,
No,
but I
you're
definitely
fine.
want some real beef. But
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
like we got chickens, but I always bury mine. I can't eat them.
Well, the older they are, the more tough they get anyway, so it's fair.
Yeah, it works out.
I mean, do you raise them separately, or do you raise some for meat and some for eggs?
So it's totally different breeds. The ones that are bred for for meat, we actually get them from a hatchery.
Okay.
So we order them, 50 to 100 at a time.
Dang.
And then, they get shipped in the day that they're hatched. So within 1 to 2 days, they're at the post office. We go pick them up, and then we raise them from the time they're this big to the time they're full. And
Time
then
to eat?
Yep. We process them.
How old are they when you?
Typically right at about 9 weeks.
Okay.
Because they're bred to, so the way that it's a Cornish cross. So what they do is they're actually bred to eat. And if you don't process them, then at that point they either develop health issues or they will just eat until they die. Like they just
some people
eat
like that.
nonstop.
I got some friends like that.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it takes longer, but that's what they're doing.
Yeah, not 9 weeks, but
Yeah.
All right, and then the other ones, of course, so I know a guy. His family owned that chicken farm, and he's like, dude, how you gonna have any eggs? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you don't have a rooster. I was like,
That's not
how that works.
That's not how that works.
yeah, I know, but this cat grew up in like 4,000 chickens. What do you think? They had like one real busy rooster?
I mean, it's possible.
That's what the cat said to me, man.
After growing up on an egg farm.
Yes. He's like, "Where's your rooster? You're not gonna have any eggs." I'm just thinking to myself, "Dog."
Like,
And I had to, I'm slow. I'm like, "Is that true?" But we already have eggs. I'm like, "What the hell's going on?" They're not fertilized eggs.
yes.
Well, I had that moment the other day.
And granted, a lot of people freak out about the whole fertilized eggs thing. And I was like, we have roosters that help protect our females.
Damn right.
I mean, that's just how it works. And I think, yeah, you'll every so often, if you crack an egg, yes, you will see a spot in there. It's okay. It's not
Right.
It's not a full chicken there. You're fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right. So what were you saying? You had a moment.
Oh, I don't know why I'm even saying this.
Go ahead.
Throwing myself under the bus. But we were eating Japanese the other night, so it was sushi and stuff, and hers had fish eggs on it, little red things. And I was like, oh, look at, I was kind of making fun. I was like, you're eating all the baby fish. She was like, they're not fertilized, dumbass. Like chickens. I was like, oh, yeah, you're right.
Wow.
Yep.
So I had the same moment. I didn't realize fish did it too.
Yeah.
So that's caviar, right?
Yep.
It can be. But usually on sushi, there's just,
I never eat
Some
that
kind of
shit.
fish.
I ain't gonna eat that shit.
it's not all raw. Like a California roll is avocado, cucumber.
See, I can't eat those. I'm
Some
allergic
crab.
to avocado.
Oh,
you really?
shit, never mind.
But have you ever eaten sushi, like the raw fish?
I can eat some of them. I can't eat like the overly fishy ones. It's just,
Yeah, I ain't down with that shit.
That's good. He had raw beef.
No.
Have you ever? No.
So
Is that a bad idea?
yeah.
Oh shit.
So, all right, so when you had the beef, how's that come? I know I don't want to keep you here all night, but yeah. So,
No, you're good.
So explain. So you are these cows in Dinwiddie, or you?
No, so we're starting a new herd completely from scratch. So that way everything's, because the whole thing with our farm is, we can testify to this is how it, from
Right.
the day they're born to the day they
Right.
go.
And that's what people want. Yeah,
We
yeah.
have our hands on them. Like there's no same thing with the birds, other than the hatchery itself.
Right.
They're with us, and the same thing. And when it comes to the chickens that we process, they're also they're raised like chickens. They're not in a concrete building with
Right,
no
right.
sunlight. They get sunlight every day. They're in what's called a chicken tractor, so it gets moved
Oh, good.
every day. And so they have fresh grass and bugs, and they're outside and doing what they're supposed to do.
Damn.
But yeah, so the cows will be the same way.
Oh, that's cool.
They'll be in their own pasture doing their thing. And
Man.
You guys have a name for the
Athala Farms.
Athala Farms? You guys have a site or anything?
We're on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, when this is over, giving that stuff, we can put it at the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll tag it so people can.
Cool.
Check your cats
Get
out.
some
So,
fresh-
are y'all having some pretty good business and stuff? or-
Oh yeah, so we've doubled since we started. At least I would say at least doubled. It was our first year. We were just kind of trying it out,
Yeah,
seeing
yeah.
how
It's cool though, yeah.
how we would do with it. First year we did like 50, 52 total, and then last year I think we finished out at 300-ish.
Damn. That's awesome.
And
Why
so,
are we so dumb, man? I can't figure this out. In the wrong business. That's cool though. I mean, and I mean, is it besides you two? Is anybody else there working? Like,
Our kids.
yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't know if y'all were going to try to. Yeah, I didn't know if you
Child labor. No, I'm just kidding.
They're just learning to be strong. That's all.
Exactly. Yeah.
No. I didn't know if y'all had like a
No, I think that's important. To, I mean, knowing how to move around and move stuff around. And
Yeah, at some point it will get to the point we'll have to hire somebody to help out. I mean, the goal is, to have our own facility on site, because for the chickens, we don't have to have a completely separate facility and all this other stuff. For the cows, you have to. So if not, we have to send them off to somebody to slaughter them for me, and then
Damn.
But so our eventual goal is we'll have our own inspected facility in the state, and we'll be the only one in this area that can
awesome.
do it in house.
So, do you ever see the day like, okay,
Ideally,
I have my fill in public service. Now I'm just gonna be a full-time farmer.
it could be, but I still love what I do, so I can't.
Yeah, if you can get that 20-year mark
Yeah,
and get that retirement check, man.
yeah, and
Because the 20 years you're locked in. That's
Oh
it.
yeah,
And you can leave at 20 years, and it's only less than it says 1.75 multiplier. So basically like 2%. So if you left at, so people really don't understand this. I don't, but your VRS retirement, you get this supplement, which is guaranteed at 20 years, regardless of whether you work 20 years or 30. It doesn't matter. But usually people work to 25, so they can get basically half of their best 3 years of service.
Yep.
But if you, like for me, I left at 21, so you can basically subtract 8%
Yeah.
a month from what I would have made if I had stayed 25. You follow me?
Oh, absolutely.
So now I'm like pulling in 42% of my best 3 years instead of 50%.
oh yeah.
are most states like this? For
I don't know.
law enforcement or not really?
I'm not sure.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you can get that, you're guaranteed that until Social Security kicks in.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's worth it if you can make it through it.
I plan on staying. Like I said, I love it. Like I don't see myself going anywhere. But between his career, my career, and then we have the third, with that being our business. So I have no.
That's awesome, man.
Making it work right now.
Oh yeah, but that's why everybody's like, "Hey, what are you gonna do on your days off? Work." Like, I don't. Like, that's not how that.
Well, you're kind of used to that, but I mean,
yeah.
some people don't have a work ethic, and that's a problem.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I said, what go ahead.
I always ask guests. So you have your husband, you have your kids, you have your farm, your job. And that's all motivation.
Oh, absolutely.
To get up in the morning. But you can play off going into law enforcement as a female or whatever you want to do. But what's your daily motivation? Maybe as if it's physical, if it's working out, or if it's getting up in the morning.
Daily motivation for my job.
Yeah, or in general, just like you said, you have your job, but then you also have the farm. You're taking care of 2 kids. Like, what's the?
So the motivation for my job is I never want anybody to feel helpless. Like, 'cause I know there's been certain times in my life throughout, from the time I was younger to, before I started law enforcement, where you kind of feel helpless at certain points, and you weren't getting the help you needed. And I feel like at that point, that's my motivation to continue that. Because when I talk to people, I feel like I can kind of get through to them.
Yeah.
It's, for some reason, I was given that gift. I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing.
No, that's a good thing, yeah.
But motivation in general is just, at the end of the day, like I've dealt with all my issues, and the things that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. I'm at peace with who I am and my life. I love my life, and when it comes down to it, continuing that, making it even better for our kids, so they don't have to worry about anything.
Right.
That's cool.
I don't.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I think he was saying like, some people are like fitness driven, or they're still like on this mission, to figure out who they are. But you've already done some of that already.
Yeah.
And it'll change with time too. The older you get, all those things will change, and different things will mean different things to you. But anyway, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's probably one of the best ones we've heard. No offense to anybody else.
We've had some.
Evan Jones was like, "Women, my motivation."
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. I mean, he's single. I mean,
Single
he's
dude.
Yeah.
Hey, by all means, do what you got to do.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't think he really said that, but
I think he did.
something he would say.
It'll
Live
be the
your
first
best
one.
life, man.
We'll get to edit that show. Yeah, but then we asked one last question. We'll try to do this from now on. Or do you want to do the death row one?
Oh boy.
Yeah, we did that one last time. Your death row meal.
Oh damn!
If you right,
that's what we said.
yeah, if you were in the chair right now and they said, "What's your final
we don't have
meal?"
we don't have the death penalty anymore, but in Virginia. But go ahead. That's kind of a corny question.
Hey, I mean, I'm okay with that. I like food. So. I
Learn
mean,
about people's food taste.
as long as it involves steak, and my husband had to cook it though.
That's morbid. It's like I'm gonna die. Well, it's all made up. So.
Like steak and his mac and cheese, and I'm good. Like
Is this grilled? The steak. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
What? How's it done?
medium rare.
I think you said you couldn't eat raw meat.
That's not
That's
raw.
not raw.
See, no, he's a well done man.
Oh no.
Medium well. Yeah.
Oh no. We'll have to convert you.
Yeah.
It's so much better.
Okay. All right.
It's way more tender.
We'll work on it. All right. So, and the last thing, what would be your advice to any officer, but particularly young women? I know. So let's just be real. I mean, there is types of discrimination that go on. Even we talked about some of it briefly, but I'll just say it like this: when I was going to college at Virginia State, this is in '92 or something. I was a stockman at Walmart in Colonial Heights.
Okay.
And you used to help people carry their stuff out.
Yeah.
It ain't like that anymore. People just struggle, I guess, for the most part. But anyway, they'd call you from the back, and as you're walking to the front, if you saw like a nice-looking lady, the stockmen were fighting whoever would go help them. And if they weren't so nice-looking, they're just like, you got it, bro, go ahead. So, I mean, I'm just being real. I mean, that's how people get mad at me. But, yeah, so I mean, you're a nice-looking young lady in law enforcement. Do you think what would be the advice, for you to say, I'm just adding that in there. I'm not saying somebody. This is probably the wrong line of questioning. But, has it been a hindrance to you? Do you feel like you had to work harder or prove yourself more? Or, you're kind of an anomaly where you're physically fit, you're strong, you can prove yourself every time because you always did in the academy. But what would be your advice to a young female thinking about this profession?
If you're going to do it all the way is the big one. Like, don't come in with the mentality of, oh, well, don't use an excuse of, oh, well, I'm a female, I can't do that, or I'm weaker than that. No.
Bingo.
Either you're going to do it or you're not. It's very simple. But don't let anybody tell you can't do it either.
Bingo, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Stand your ground, but also, actually, stand your ground in both ways.
And don't make any excuses for it.
Yeah, because people want it both ways, not you at all. But and I'll be honest. The people I've been most impressed with as a coordinator there were a lot of the females that had to overcome those obstacles, and they may not have really existed. In the back of their mind, they as a young female, they were taught that. Now I guess things are changing, but for the most part, there's this hidden. Well, it's not hidden. There is a barrier, but if you mentally already overcome it, it's not even a question anymore.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, you're going to have people that don't take you seriously, or, I have more of a baby face, so I have people all the time. They're like, you don't look old enough to carry a gun. I'm like, okay. So a lot of times they don't want to take you serious. But then as soon as you start talking to them and they understand, okay, you're not just blowing smoke. You know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Then as long as you do your job and do what you know you're supposed to do, you're fine.
It's badass.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I can't say shit. I wasn't a cop, but...
But
I think it should be
It's all aspects of life, though.
Anybody's job.
Well, that's not.
Going with the mindset that you're going to do it 100%.
It's all aspects of life.
Don't half-ass it. Full ass it.
Bitch, you weren't never gonna be a cop, but I won't gonna let you be a cop.
Yeah, that's the one thing he said. He said you would never be a cop.
Fair enough.
No, hell no. But anyway, all right. Let's not get into all this. Anything else you want to say?
Is there any meaning to your tattoo?
Oh, yeah.
I always ask people that.
Oh, yeah. It's just the journey throughout my life. All my tattoos have the same, they kind of each one tells a different story about a different part of my life.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's cool, man. That's cool. So who's the boss? Last question. Who's the boss of your house, you or your husband?
We kind of flip back and forth a little bit because, we always have this running joke that, I know I would never have to worry about anything because I have like 10 different personalities, so he stays really occupied.
That's good. And you both have your own motorcycles and stuff too, right?
Yep.
So you've been up to the mountains, like the tail.
Oh yeah, tail of the dragon. We did the claw of the dragon. The eye, and
so you're a pretty good rider then.
I've been riding since I was 17.
Damn.
I love it.
That's cool though. All right, I just want to throw that out there too.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
badass.
she's a real deal, man. You might be the next motorcycle cop in Chesterfield.
No, I do not want to do it for work because I enjoy it. I don't want to have to do it.
All right, well, anything else? Well, I mean, it's been a pleasure having you on. I mean, you're somebody I've always admired, and I hope that through this podcast that you've inspired some other people, or even promoted your business or whatever. But
no, I appreciate y'all having me on.
yeah, for real,
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And we'll link everything too, so people
sweet.
can find your farm and
I appreciate that. That's
buy some
really
stuff.
Awesome.
I'm gonna buy some stuff.
Yeah, I want some steak. And your husband has to grill it too.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and thank you to your husband for letting you come on. Because I said, hey,
Oh no! We are not putting that on there.
see, that's a mistake I made. We'll end it with this. I said, like, make sure your husband knows my wife's home. And I was just saying, because some people are funny about that shit,
Oh no!
And she's like, and then I knew I just said the wrong thing.
I was like, oh no!
That's not an issue. I was like, I'm not saying towards you. I'm saying.
Oh yeah, it's always funny because we always joke about that.
Jesus.
Because I'm like, I'm sorry. Did somebody let me do something?
What?
Yeah,
I didn't mean it
Frankie
like that.
does that too.
I know.
That didn't sound
I know.
right. I'm old. Don't forget, I'm old, dude.
He's old school, man.
I know. That's okay.
As soon as I said it, didn't sound right. But yeah, I appreciate your husband
Oh yeah, no,
partnering with you, and
he's cool. He's awesome.
yeah, I'm sure he is. But I was just
He's
saying, it was like
awesome.
he didn't let you do anything, but here you are. So very good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Well, like I said, we'll link everything. And if you guys can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, listen to us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast.
Bingo.
We'll see you guys next time on The Hill.
On the hill. Thank you so much.
thank you guys.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to On the Hill. Like, subscribe, and follow us wherever you listen to your podcasts. See ya.